You're listening to the Dynamic Thinking Project podcast. This is episode 51, and today's topic is sleepwalking. Hey everyone, Adam Musalli here. Welcome to the Dynamic Thinking Project podcast. If this is your first time listening, then thanks for coming. This podcast is released every Friday, and show notes are found at the website, themindtechinstitute.com. It's all one word. Come back often and feel free to add this podcast to your favorite RSS feed or iTunes. You can also follow me on Twitter and Facebook. All links are in the show notes and website. And now, let's get started. To all sleepwalkers who are our listeners, this episode is definitely for you. I had this topic suggested to me a few weeks ago by a few of our listeners, but I had to delay it for a few weeks since we were talking about aliens, missing people, and other related stuff. Now, I thought it's the best time to talk about sleepwalking before we shift gear again and we start talking about other strange theories which more likely to be true. For example, such as the Mandela effect. I know many people already been asking me about it for months, but as you know, that sometimes we have to line up these topics in the right order, especially if it's a long topic, so it might take us more than 1 or 2 episodes, such as the Mandela effect. There's lots of things related to it, but we will leave that for another day. And I do apologize if some of your suggested topics are delayed, but I promise most topics which are suggested to me will be covered in the right time. With that being said, and to get the intro out of the way, if you are interested in learning and becoming a fully qualified hypnotherapist, neuro-linguistic programming, or NLP practitioner and master practitioner, if you would like to become a life coach or a counselor, now you can study all that totally online. All you have to do is visit mti.edu.au or themindtechinstitute.com, and you will find all these courses along with many other courses once you click on the online courses tab. All our diplomas and advanced diplomas are accredited and recognized worldwide. And for more information, all can be found online, themindtechinstitute.com. Going back to sleepwalking, and after we did the demonic possession episode, which I believe it was episode 43, I guess. Anyway, a lady sent me an email saying that my partner sleepwalks. Is he possessed or being abducted by aliens? Well, I hope not. So I replied and I explained to her that sleepwalking actually occurs in a part of sleep called slow wave sleep, which is part of non-REM, which is rapid eye movement sleep. We will get to that later. And I also suggested not to be alarmed, and it's better to see a doctor since my area of work is psychology and social and behavioral science, but I'm not an MD. However, some research has suggested that the condition of sleepwalking can be traced back to one section of a single chromosome, which is chromosome 20, and therefore can be passed down through multiple generations. And if you are wondering about the syndromes associated with chromosome 20, there are epileptic seizures and behavioral disorders as mental retardation. But, once again, that is only one research. Another interesting research indicated that sleepwalking has nothing to do with your dreams, and I will get to that in details. In other words, just because you are dreaming about food, it won't prompt you to sleepwalk to the fridge. You see, when you are asleep, our bodies are restful and peaceful, though our brain may be active, and we sleepwalk. The association between your brain and your body disappears. People do the craziest things. They jump out of bed, but they are not aware about what they are doing or why they are doing it. However, sleepwalking is not dreaming. You are not acting out of what you are dreaming. The brain isn't aware of what you are doing as consciously aware, but your body is still doing odd things. You could be walking downstairs, going to open a closet or cupboards, all without your brain knowing consciously what's going on or why you are doing it. And in fact, I think when people sleepwalk, they would be acting based on their subconscious patterns, as they are acting on autopilot, such as getting up, walking, opening doors, and even walking on roads without being harmed. And why, you may ask? Well, that's because they can walk unharmed between cars when they are awake. So they can imitate the same pattern subconsciously when they are sleeping. And yes, I am aware that some people got harmed and injured during sleepwalking, but so do people when they are awake. So does it mean you just leave the doors open and let them walk during the city sleepwalking? Absolutely not. You better lock the doors and hide sharp objects. We'll talk about that later. But you gotta do your best to provide a safe environment for them. And you gotta be gentle with them. Don't scream, and keep in mind, they are not dreaming. You see, people used to think that sleepwalkers acted out their dreams. They also thought that sleepwalking had something to do with epilepsy, hysteria, dissociative disorders, or even your own secret wishes. We usually mention in our hypnotherapy training that sleepwalking occurs during your deepest stages of sleep, stage 3 and 4. You will learn all about that in our hypnosis training, but basically, it's when the brain waves are very slow. During the day, your brain is a beehive of activity. During NREM, and that's non-rapid eye movement, which is dreamless sleeping, the REM sleep is barely humming. Your body, however, is still active and hasn't completely quieted down for the day. So what we have here is a body that can still move, paired with a sleepy brain, very similar situation during sleep paralysis. And you can learn more about sleep paralysis if you go back to episode 19. Now, mental health professionals refer to sleepwalking as disorder of arousal, which means that something triggers the brain into arousal from deep sleep. So the person is in a transition state between sleeping and waking. The fact that most sleepwalkers are children is significant, especially since most of them grow out of it. You see, a child's brain develops very quickly and it's primed to soak up all kinds of stimuli. Drooling babies grow into reading kindergartners in 5 years. Do you think you will experience the same kind of brain development in the next 5 years? Well, some suggest that a child's brain is simply too immature to completely understand the cycles of waking and sleeping. Think of sleep as having fuzzy borders. Also, others propose that since children develop so quickly, perhaps some areas of the brain outspace others in development, or certain aspects of development take priority. And NREM, non-rapid eye movement sleep, is also when your body repairs itself and releases hormones, including growth hormones. You see, children spend a lot of their time growing, and it's possible that the release of hormones has something to do with triggering arousal from sleep. And it's the same thing with adults, that when we sleep, actually the body is releasing growth hormone during the night. And if you are familiar with bodybuilding and sport, they always tell you that to sleep before 12 o'clock so you don't miss out on that growth hormone shot in the midnight. And after midnight, I think it gets released again every couple of hours or something like that. So if you think about it, most adult sleepwalkers are also sleepwalked as children. It rarely begins in adulthood except as a symptom of another disorder. Even could be a bit more complicated when other factors could be involved, such as mild schizophrenia, DID or dissociative identity disorder, and other factors, but it's totally off this topic, and we'll dedicate special episodes about it. And as you may know that children tend to sleepwalk more when they are overly tired and stressed. The same factors affect adults, as well as certain medicines, alcohol, and even fever illnesses. And no, hypnosis doesn't make you sleepwalk unless the hypnotist gave you that suggestion when you were hypnotized and you were okay with it. So hypnosis has nothing to do with sleepwalking whatsoever. Now, of course, in some people, sleepwalking isn't so harmful, and also sleepwalking has been linked to seizures. REM, which is rapid eye movement, sleep disorders, and organic brain disorders like Parkinson's is organic brain disorder, and Alzheimer's. But if your child is sleepwalking, don't be alarmed. Your child will probably either grow out of it or can be helped by a regular sleep schedule and some stress reduction. And the best way is to consult your doctor. And if you're an adult sleepwalker, also don't be alarmed, but I also suggest that it might be a good idea to have a chat with your doctor. Now, in summary, the causes of sleepwalking is far more common in kids than adults, as I mentioned before, and most sleepwalkers also grow out of it by early teen years or when they are teenagers, and it may run in families. So if you or your partner are or were sleepwalkers, your child may be too. But sometimes it does skip generations, so don't be alarmed. And also other factors that may bring on a sleepwalking episode include a lack of sleep or fatigue, irregular sleep schedules, illnesses or fever, certain medications, and stress. But sleepwalking is rarely caused by an underlying medical or emotional or psychological problems. Now, some behaviors during sleepwalking, of course, getting out of bed and walking around while still sleeping is the most obvious sleepwalking symptom, but young sleepwalkers may also sleep talk, seem dazed, be clumsy, not respond when you talk to them or when they spoken to, and also they might sit up in bed and go through repeated motions such as rubbing their eyes or fussing with their pajamas or doing a habit that they may do when they're awake, and that also related to the subconscious autopilot behavior patterns. Also, if you see sleepwalkers' eyes are open, which is most likely they will be open, but they don't see the same way they do when they are awake. And they often think that they are in different rooms of the house or even different places altogether. Now, here's the question everyone asks. Is sleepwalking harmful? Well, sleepwalking itself is not harmful. However, sleepwalking episodes can be hazardous since sleepwalking kids aren't awake and may not realize what they are doing, such as sleepwalking downstairs or opening windows. But once again, kids fall downstairs even when they're awake. And sleepwalking is not usually a sign that something is emotionally or psychologically wrong with a child. It doesn't cause any emotional harm, and the sleepwalkers probably won't even remember the nighttime stroll. Now, how can you provide a safe environment, or how do you keep a sleepwalker safe? Although sleepwalking itself is not harmful, but it's important to take precautions so that your sleepwalking child is less likely to fall down, run into something, walk out of the front door, or even drive if your teen is a sleepwalker. Now, to help keep your sleepwalker out of harm's way is try not to wake a sleepwalker, because this might scare your child. Instead, gently guide them back to bed. But don't shake them, don't scream, don't shout and act hysterically. So just gently guide them back to bed. Also, it's better to lock windows and doors, not just to your child's bedroom, but throughout your home. You may consider extra locks or child safety locks on doors. Also, which I really highly suggest if your sleepwalker is a teenager, keys should be kept out of reach or hidden for kids who are old enough to drive, because teenagers actually get excited when they drive. So it's a fresh pattern in their subconscious mind, as it's a new skill that they're emotionally also attracted to it. So when they are asleep, they might get the keys and drive. Why? Because it's exciting to them and they are acting based on an autopilot pattern, which is a subconscious pattern. So keep the keys away. It's better for everyone. So basically, we have covered most of the important things about sleepwalking. And once again, if you are interested in learning and becoming a fully qualified hypnotherapist, neuro-linguistic programming, or NLP practitioner, master practitioner, if you would like to become a life coach or a counselor, now you can study all that totally online. All you have to do is visit mti.edu.au or themindtechinstitute.com, and you will find all these courses along with many other courses once you click on the online courses tab. All our diplomas and advanced diplomas are accredited and recognized worldwide. And for more information, all can be found online, themindtechinstitute.com. That's it for today, and thank you for listening. If you have any questions, as usual, you can email me. The email is on our website, themindtechinstitute.com. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, especially if you are listening to this podcast on YouTube. The Dynamic Thinking Project podcast is released every Friday. Until next time, take care and enjoy your weekend. This is Adam Muselli, signing out.